hope that some of our works or experiments that we have done at Preop, some of which I will share over here, will help you devise your own methods to do the same. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so that was the topic. We decided on the topic natural building collectives. So let us together begin with deciphering what these three words really mean. The words natural building collective, and how do we decipher? Is we start asking questions. We ask simple, basic questions. I'm imagining, like me, you're all typing questions into Google and seeing what it says. So the first question we asked Google was, what is natural? What does natural mean? It says existing in or derived from nature, or not caused by humankind. So we find a lot of synonyms for natural, like sustainable, green, environment-friendly, eco-friendly, ecological. What a synonym means is a word with the same meaning. Most companies now, be it architectural firms or food products or manufacturing units, use one of these words and have their own interpretation of its own meaning. Let's make a few more inquiries about natural, a little more to do with the architectural context. So you have an image here of what you see over here is iron ore mines, or iron ore quarry on the left and steel on the right. So what I'm going to run you through the processes iron ore goes through to come to this product on the right very quickly. And I also virtually take you on a tour in a granite quarry I visited. It's when we start asking questions, we start visiting places, as we start learning more. Here you have a bamboo forest, which is, so the processes you will see, which bamboo is converted into. So both of them, bamboo forest on the left and the bamboo product on the right, are using much lower energy consuming processes like cutting, harvesting, drying, treating, sorting the bamboos, which is then getting ready for your construction. So we're just right now just dwelling on what is natural. And this is a bamboo forest in Uravu. Again, my vain attempt at virtually taking you to a bamboo forest. So the reason why I have put these 4 images together, or why I'm presenting these 4 images to you, is to, like I said, we're doing our inquiry into what is natural. How long did it take, for example, iron ore to form? Google said it was formed 1.8 billion years ago. Okay, all I understand from this number is that it is a very, very long time ago. I understand we only have a finite amount of it. How long will a patch of bamboo, how long will a patch of the bamboo forest, once it's harvested, let's say it's harvested today, it will it take to grow back to the size which is fit for construction again? It's 3 to 4 years. They're both steel and bamboo are technically derived from nature, but one is generally called as a natural material and the other is not. For me, these images answer a lot of questions pertaining to natural materials and why it is important to maximize their use. Also with bamboo, the process from forest to on-site construction is tangible. It's a material I can individually wield with my own hands, with my own strength, and I can design appropriate joineries to be able to work with the type of bamboo that is locally available. So for last couple of centuries, our ancestors did not have to think about choosing their materials in the context we are having to today. They did not perceive the amount of debris we would eventually end up creating. They did not have access to the statistical values which we have today from around the globe. Be it the geographical, geological data or pollution levels, amount of waste created from the construction industry, and so on. Our generations have access to that data. We are more collectively aware, and we cannot or should not turn a blind eye. We should not be ignorant. The slide is getting okay. So one question that eventually comes into our minds is that how long? So there are layers and layers of problems, right, which are all interconnected. These images are talking about mineral extinctions that soon we are going to face a crisis. And like I said, there are layers and layers of problems which are all interconnected, and we can create layers and layers of solutions if we work towards collectively in our own small and big ways to tackle them. I'll conclude the inquiries into natural with this slide. There is no universal green or sustainable material. There is no one right solution, no one perfect green material palette. Each of us can make the efforts with each project, each new context to the journey to find out what fits best. So what you see over here is, I'll give you very interesting examples. Is repurposing a building a natural thing to do? Yes, absolutely. One of the best things you can do is repurposing this building, right? Like it was looks like a church before, and now it has been used like a completely different space. You have, of course, repurposed materials here, where you can see the containers being converted into something else. You have, of course, natural building materials used for construction, like earth and bamboo over here. This is recycling from waste, so architecture from waste. So all I'm saying is there is no right or wrong. It's like you choosing a material according to your context and being sensitive about the site. Coming to natural building collectives. A collective just means a group of people. So I'll give you a quick insight into how my journey with natural building materials started. Chance got me to Audible Bamboo Center, where I learned to use construction tools, hand tools, power tools, for the first time, constructing simple joineries, furniture pieces to make simple structures with bamboo and mud. I found myself from a house of many rooms in a city to a community living space behind the bamboo workshop, where I resided for 6 months in a standalone room, call it a hut or a cottage, of approximately 8 feet by 8 feet size, constructed in bamboo. From that minimal, frugal size of it, which left no space for clutter, to the nature sounds it led through, or from how I was able to easily make small modifications to it myself, and how much fun the whole process was for me, I knew I wanted to continue building in a similar fashion. A few years later, a group of friends with similar ideologies, formed this collective. Preop means experiment. All of us in the group have stories which come out in our styles of how we work, what we do and do individual, and our individual passions, specialisms, which we all bring to the common table. We all have one common aim: to experiment ideas that bring about a social change in relation between us and our surroundings. Spaces where we live, work, learn, and play. Few of the works we have done are underway. I will present. So this is a cow barn or a cow shed we've done in Pur. It's in Maharashtra, the site. So the This design was led by architect Ashwin Chari, who is a part of our collective. And this was his first time working with bamboo. He was called to the site with, there were quite a few requirements, quite a few buildings they needed for this site, starting from a cattle enclosure, open grazing, fodder storage, incubation and treatment of pregnant cows, calf enclosure, area for milk processing and products from cow urine, and dung like agarbatti and cow dung cakes, etc. And he was given a certain amount of budget. He was not specified materials. And he realized two things. The site has plenty of mud, has plenty of bamboo, and how can he work with these materials? So he's experimented his way through and built this structure here. You can see a lot of the community helping with the whole process over here. So here we have another person from the collective, Pragya Gupta, whose specialism is computational design. She's tried to use her computational techniques into working with mud. You see some of her modules, her prototypes in the center. She's tried to create rammed earth architectural forms with these parametric forms. This is another cow barn project, which uses stone and bamboo. So this is again in a site in Maharashtra in Bhor. Same context, a lot of mud. There was a couple, family with one child who wanted a house, which is like, they said they did not want to feel like they were in a city at all. And they wanted to get that feeling of being back into nature. So again, your exploratory models of how can we construct this. Realize none of us have made any of these structures before, right? Like we did not learn it in school. So the only way we've done it is, or we can do them, is by experimenting, by trying it out. So this is the domes are done in adobe brick. The interiors are done with mud and bamboo, and the plastering is in mud. The exterior plastering here is in lime and mud. These experiments with some rammed earth and stones right on the side, same side. This is another project. It's a dance school project in Karnataka, in a village called Chikkare. You see a site image here on the left over here. It's the curious neighbors who've come, who are inspecting what is happening on the site as a JCB digs in. So that's like a process. Same thing for what we did in college. We go to the site, we spend 2 or 3, the first visit we did, we spent 2-3 days on the site. We've on the site itself come up with a few sketches, few ideas. We've done a total discussion. We've even come up with these right side drawings on the second or the third day of the first site visit. We've explained to the client, gotten all ideas from him, and then we've come back to our city, Pune, and worked on it further to make the drawings, further drawings and further correspondence. So this site here is a very interesting context of the Chikkare villages. The village is located on a hillock, on top of the hillock, and the villagers have chosen the site quite wisely. It doesn't get waterlogged, though it comes under extremely high rainfall area, and so we hit rock. Like as you start digging for foundation, you hit rock immediately at 3 feet. Like you hit hard surface at 3 feet already. So though the houses here the village houses are all built in mud and cane and local materials, thatch, and they also have a mud floor plastered with cow dung. There is no capillary action happening with water seeping into their ground, or there is no moisture which is collecting into the structures. It's again like the intrinsic knowledge the villagers had about placing their houses in a correct location and using the right materials, using the right techniques. This is a matan we constructed in Tardoba in bamboo. So this is our office. This is a year and a half ago where we had been offered a space which in the left top corner. And we were told we could make a very temporary office or like invest a minimum or do not make too many changes to the structure or the interior bits. So we've just put in a flooring, we've put in some bamboo doorways on the right, on the two edges. We tried with some cow dung on both sides of the space. There is veranda where we've done cow dung flooring. And you can see the space, how it's come about. You can see the bamboo behind me to the shutters. This is a resort project we've planned in bamboo. It's in Talashil. So you can see the site. There's a river on the right and there's a sea on the left. So again, a very tricky site context, quite sloping. Again, there's a semi-shabir which is requesting to annotate the shared content. I do not know what it means. I'm going to decline it. So yeah, we played with, so this entire structure is planned in prefab bamboo. It's using some earth jali elements on the facade of the restaurant. This is one of our latest projects. So we're working on prefab bamboo, and with our whole idea is how can we're trying to sell, we're going to try and pitch this as a product, like you have a furniture product where we're saying we will fully customize the plan for you, be it a 1-bedroom house, be it a 2-bedroom house, be it a 3-bedroom house. And we will plan it with you. We'll customize every single space. We could even customize the furniture in there. And once you have, like you've ticked off, okay, the furniture, the plan, everything, we package it for you, we transport it to site, like we prefabricate it over here, we package it to site, deliver it to site, and we construct it on site. It's proposed in plastering with earth, like lime plasters and natural plasters. You get an overall feel of the space through these renders. So one of the key things which we do as Preop means experiment, is we share our knowledge. We work with we work with designers, we work with students, we work with artisans, we work with craftsmen, and try and learn from everybody, all of these individuals, and teach whatever we can. So this is the workshop done in Pune, one of the colleges, where we are doing a canopy for their India school building, college building. The process always starts with working with bamboo sticks, making models, sketching, having your brief in place. I think once they start constructing, prototyping in their small models, where they realize, oh, the design is working, it's failing, it's like, everything just comes about right. And they have a perfect model, a prototype small model, and then we execute it. And everything is done by them, cutting of bamboo, doing all the joineries. Every single thing is done hands-on. This is the similar natural building workshop we did in Hyderabad at Geetham University. So you can see over here, the students are from sifting mud, sifting the soil, working out the proportions, mixing it with feet, and of course, hands-on labor, hands-on cutting. It's a lot of work, but you do learn a lot, and it's quite a fun process. They've created wattle and door panel over here, and so this was the end structure. So it was a pavilion for the cricket ground. We also do workshops in natural plasters. So this is a workshop we did in Bombay. They did not have surfaces for us to do the plastering, so we've used chipboards in this case. And this is in our studio space. We have quite a few walls, so we're doing the same thing. We conduct workshops. And yeah, you're absolutely, everybody's trying their own. We have We have rocks from different sites. So you have a yellowish rock, which can be powdered to make the yellow color. You have the red bricks, which can be again crushed down to give you the red color for the soil. And people have mixed. You can see a little green color on the hands here. They've mixed. It makes jaggery and blue to make a blue oxide to make that green. You can see people have plucked a leaf and imprinted it on the plaster. This is another construction Pebble construction we did in Aurangabad. The students are checking the levels. There was no carpenter used for making these structures. It was entirely done by the students. We've used bamboo pegs, you can see in the video, which will get then finished later. There are quite a few collectives who are doing similar works. A lot of firms in India, a lot of people who are working with similar ideologies. They're all working, trying to get the natural building materials, how to construct with them. They're experimenting like us. These are some of them. I'm hoping that through material design for construction, there is a lot of information out there right now. But yes, converting this information into prototyping it, doing a hands-on study yourself is quite important. You can I think feel free to ask me any questions on any of these projects. I haven't dwelt in detail on the construction techniques but yeah, I think we could deal that. We could if you ask any questions, we can deal with that.
Yes, ma'am, we have few questions posted by the students. So, shall we move on to the question?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, cool.
I can keep the screen share on so I can run through the projects if needed.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So the first question is from Ms. Sarshruti, and she has asked that which is more sustainable, the natural materials or the recycled?
Really depends upon that's the thing. First thing I say in the beginning of the presentation, that there is no defined sustainable product and non-sustainable product. It is totally the number of processes we are using. So let's say a recycled item. I do have an example over here to show you, but depends upon how much you'll have to put in an example in front. Recycling definitely helps because you're using the same object, but you're maybe probably giving it a little tweak, making it a new product, or probably like in these. Okay, I can give you an example through architectural images. Yeah. So recycled. Let's say this is recycled. So definitely you found a use. So these glass bottles are not going into waste and not getting binned. They're getting used. I definitely would say that this is a little more greener, but again, depends on the context, depends on what you're constructing, right? Depends upon the purpose you're going to eventually use the material for. Yeah, Mohanpriya?
Yes, yes, ma'am. So, can we move on to the next question?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the next question is from Feroz. As we know, natural building materials don't last for long, bamboo for instance, than artificial materials. Won't that be a burden for us to replace them with new ones again and again for new structures?
Okay, so the constructions or some of the constructions we've seen till date, there are proofs. If you Google, there are some bamboo structures which have lasted for quite a long time, like for 50 years, 60 years. Also, those specific structures were made probably with very natural treatment methods, like they would harvest a bamboo at one level. Let's say in Assam, at the top of the river, they've harvested the bamboo from the forest. They've put it into the river. It's come down, and while it's coming down through the river, the sugar content has gone off, which is like a natural treatment for bamboo. And they've taken it out of the river at a certain lower level, and they've used it for construction over there. So that bamboo, for example, is not going to. It's going to last you like bamboo. We can now give guarantees of plus 20 years, like the prefab bamboo building project, we are giving a warranty or a guarantee that nothing is going to happen to your bamboo for the next 20 years, which is quite a good, like quite a minimum base to set, I think. So there are quite a few treatment processes which would make your bamboo last longer. If you use a bamboo, if so, the bamboo I have over here, for example, is treated. It's got it's treated. There were holes made and chemicals put in or soaked into water. Nothing. There's no termite which is going to be able to start eating away this bamboo. On the other hand, these bamboos we did not treat. It was like a very fast, very cheap way to do it quickly. And you can now see, you can see boring happening at the ends and the top ends, and we can see like some cracks where insects have gotten in and the bugs or termites are eating the bamboo. But this doesn't happen to treated bamboo. And every few years, you can do a little bit of a coat to strengthen the same thing. But you do the same thing with wood or any other material. There is a slight maintenance to every single material we use in construction. So to answer your question, people like companies can now give you guarantees for a bamboo structure that no, it will not be, termites won't start eating it right away.
Okay. There's another question from architect Ravi sir. It's nice to see your innovative experiments with natural materials. How do you factor weathering, wear and tear, fire, and termites?
Uh, Same thing. Like for example, in bamboo, in mud constructions, for example, let me give you an image. Let me keep an image in front. So even for example, a simple thing as this wall over here. So at the base of the mud, if it's an exterior wall, let's say, you put in some thorns. You put in thorns from like your site around. You place the thorns in. So okay, when there are going to be rats attacking the structure, they're going to face a deterrent. It's going to be a deterrent for them. You're going to use bitter leaves, neem leaves, for example, in the mixture at the bottom, like let's say for a few inches even. So like bugs, termites, rats, which are going to try and get into your inner space interiors, are going to be definitely put off by these ways of doing it. There's even like glass shards which people put in into the bottom. There are quite a few various techniques which are being done since a long time ago, and of course there are new ways to do it too, by chemicals or by placing a jali, like a metal jali, till like let's say a feet off the wall from the bottom, which again is a deterrent, like the rats cannot get through, for example. And overall in the mixtures, you use various oils, for example, even linseed oil, that is, or casein, or you use castor oil, which is quite like termites do not like to eat it. Basically, they do not like there's nothing they can get out of the soil if they're eating it. So there are lots and lots of ways, and a lot of these ways you will find information of it in books online. And this is vernacular information. If you go into places where they're doing these mud constructions, these villages, they will be also be able to tell you like what is specific to their site, how they're doing it. So each city, each state has their own materials which they put in. So like whatever is grown abundantly over there. So let's say neem is abundant over here. some other leaves are abundant in another region. So they have locals have that local knowledge, the intrinsic knowledge of what is around them and what can be used. So yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next question from Manisha. Vernacular, cost-effective buildings built with natural materials have become a fashion rather than a necessity. Like for example, people who wants their house to look aesthetic and has more money to use the vernacular materials are going towards vernacular architecture, and that loses its value. How do you view this?
Can you quickly copy paste the question in the textbook or say it again? Like the voice is breaking. Or can you put it in short? Like can you do it in a shorter sentence?
People who have got more money and really interested to build their second or their third house go for this type of construction rather than building the first thing itself. So that has become like a fashion. And how do you do this?
You would be so we are ourselves like when we started on the journey of working with natural building materials, when we set up the practice and we started projecting ourselves as wanting to exclusively work with natural building materials, you would be surprised. Okay, some of the clients are definitely people who have a little more money or a little better scale of the economic ground where there is, these earth houses are their second homes, for example, where they have lands and they can experiment and have these second homes over there. But slowly and eventually, probably even like a news article helped about natural sustainable materials in the media. Actually, that helped a lot. We got calls from people in Pune who said, "Oh, this is going to be." People who didn't come from a as well of background said, "This is we bought a land. We've managed to collect, put it together our money, buy this land. It's a little outskirts of the city, and we want to build our first house, and we wanted to be in bamboo." And we were like so this is like a surprise to us too, that okay, people are coming up, people are realizing. He says, of course I want to work with, I wanted, like, we were like, why do you want to work with bamboo, why do you want a house in bamboo? He says, I've always lived in a cement brick house, and I've always, like, my village house was made of natural building materials, and I really did, I see the sense of living back in a space like that again. I want my kids to be again reliving that space, which I believe was much better for me. And he has come to us with this project, which is actually very, like, it's pretty much in the city in Pune, and it's one bedroom house, very basic, very economic. We give, like, trying to work out the most economic way to build that house. So, and even the prefab houses, for example, are not, so these prefab houses, let's say it's like a product, and we have three products we are going to put in the market. One is a very economic model, which you see here. It's just a living room converted into a bedroom, so it's like a sofa come bed. There's a kitchenette, there's a washroom, and of course we will slightly customize it for their needs. But we are also doing our best to project this as for everyone, not just for the second home kind of clients. But I would also say I also believe that it's okay that okay, people are going as second houses as as a natural building house, because once that becomes trendy, once that becomes something which people aspire to have and realize that, oh, this is doing well, this is my house, my second house is doing very well, and they would talk about it to their neighbors, to their in their communities. And probably when somebody tomorrow is building a bungalow in the city, very much in the center of the city, when they are going to go to think about it, oh yes, we can build in this material. It doesn't have to just be a farmhouse or something which is far away in a forest land. So I think I mean, yeah, we're welcoming. It's definitely, I get the concern that it's generally a second home thing. But like I said, slowly, this is surely changing. Like I said, in the past 1 year, we ourselves are quite surprised by the kind of response we've got from people right in the city.
Okay, there's another question from Shavni. Can you just tell where is it exactly located in Pune? Wish to visit it.
What is exactly located where?
In Pune.
What is Pune? My?
your project in Pune. That's what she is.
Which project in Pune? Okay, there is. So this one is in Bhor, BHOR in Maharashtra.
Yes.
This project. So this is in Karnataka, for example. This is our office site, which is in Pune, in Chandni Chowk. Yeah.
Okay. And there's another question from Manisha. Were there times when you have learned new things from the students during the workshop?
Say again?
Were there times when you have learned new things from the students during workshop?
I don't. So we was like, so I call myself a student too. Everybody who works together. So in any of these projects, literally, absolutely any of the workshop projects we do. For example, even this one here, I'll go but put it at the back so you see the structure in front. Yeah. Okay. Slightly.
Okay.
So every single design is worked on. As we don't start a workshop, for example, we conceive the design idea. We go on site. We have a certain amount ready, which is going to create a certain scale of structure. Yes, we are prepared for that. But we start working together as a team. There is no, of course, we like guide them. We definitely have a little more experience, so we are able to guide them in a better way of and get them themselves to work on a design which works. So in terms of have we learned from students? Yes, they're like our partners. They're literally like our partners when we work together. So there is no one-way communication. We learn a lot. We learn a lot from them. Absolutely. And like so we were, for example, in this project also, this project you see over here, we're also come prepared with metal nut and bolts joinery, because it's a faster way to do it. And the students, like sometimes students are tired and they take longer to do a construction, or we've dreamt of a bigger scale and we're not going to be able to complete it. So we are quickly drilling in holes and nailing, like putting the nut and bolt in place. But one of the students was like, no, let's stick to the bamboo joint. Let's stick with bamboo and pure bamboo. And they said, no, we will make the pegs for you. We will make the pegs. So we taught them how to make a peg. It's like a longer process. And so there was a team working with the pegs. They even made it so we showed them one, and each bamboo works differently. Each bamboo, depending on the species and depending upon the region we've got it from, like we've placed an order and it's come to us from, it works a little differently. So the bamboo pegs also, some had to be much smoother. Like we worked with smoother pegs, but these work better with a little rough. So the students are learning, we are learning with them. Like while we're putting in one peg and we are hammering it, we've learned, we have to make it a little fatter, we have to make it a little longer. Like we make a lot of mistakes, or we have a lot of we also don't we have a lot of questions too. We don't know a lot of things to ourselves. So every single person pitches in, every single person puts something, gets something on the table, which is why I say again, it's a whole collective work. Most of these works you see are all collective works. Like we never told a student to use a leaf on the plaster, and here we have an example which has worked. So we've gained something, they've gained something. So it's quite like a two-way process. I would just say we learn a lot for sure. Even the colors which are on this wall, some of the colors I didn't know we could make. So the students have mixed, like I said, mixed in jaggery, mixed in this color, mixed in that color, and tried and played with it, worked it out, and voila, you have green, voila, you have a really beautiful chocolate brown, things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have an image here, but they have sculptured a Ganpati on this. I don't have an image of it here, but even something like that. And they also worked out a better technique on how to sculpture it so that the Ganpati doesn't fall off. So every workshop, every day is a school day for us. And everybody we work with, we learn a lot from them.
Okay, ma'am. And there's one question from my side. How do you manage to source material to your site? Because not everywhere we can find bamboo or mud that is suitable for construction. So in that case, how do you source material, and will that be a sustainable building if we source a material which is far away from the site?
Okay. So the answer to that question would be, so there is, let's say there is a certain type of bamboo in Assam with a certain diameter, with a certain thickness, with a certain aesthetic. There is a certain type of bamboo grown in Maharashtra, which is much smaller diameter. So this one is a solid bamboo I have here, but you get a similar diameter with hollow bamboo too. And so the constructions you would generally do in Maharashtra, we would club multiple bamboos together, small because they're smaller bamboos and they have less structural strength. But let's say you're going towards the northeast, you could use like singular bamboos as your college structures. So your design is defined a lot by the bamboo which is available in your locality. So it might not be on the site itself, but there would be bamboo. Like we have bamboo growing regions pretty much all over India except the very northern Kashmir range or the Himalayan range. So there's bamboo on the east. Okay, there's not enough bamboo again in the Rajasthan region, but you have a lot of mud. And again, your question on mud, in choosing mud and if the mud is not suitable for construction. So all of these structures which I've showed you, most of the mud we have used is from the site itself. So if you understand the basics of mud, it has clay content, it has soil content, it has if you understand the proportions of each and what is the kind of proportion you need, you can add sand accordingly. You can add so the proportions will change with the mud and sand for your construction. But generally, most mud is suitable for construction. You don't need a very specific kind of mud. You just need to be able to test it, understand its properties, and be able to use it. Over here, we've done a very simple technique to understand if this mud was suitable for construction. For example, we've put some soil in a water bottle and we've shaked it and we've left it overnight. With the settlements in the bottle, you could see you can see a proportion of clay settling on top. You can see a proportion of gravel settling at a certain one of the levels, and you take a mud at the bottom level. And you can start making judgments and then deciding the materials you're going to add and the proportions of it accordingly.
Okay, so few words about the plasters that you use along with the mud. So what are the common plasters that you use for your construction?
What are the common plasters we use? Lime plasters? Add earth plasters, you mean?
Yes. Is there any additives added so that it stays for a long time, or how do you process your plastering?
Let me try and get an image in front. Is my screen still shared?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you can see there's a shelf full of materials over here, which are all, so there is a huge plethora of materials we can use for plastering. I'll give you an example of lime plaster. So you have lime, which is you can eat. So tuna, which is like that, you can go to the markets and mention that, okay, tuna, which you can eat, that type of tuna, that type of lime. You, of course, add water to it. We add rangoli, which is sand, which is essentially quartz powder, to the mixture. We add, to give it a little nice, to improve the workability, we add egg whites to the mixture. We have, if you don't want to use egg whites, we have aloe vera as an option. So you scrape off the aloe vera, the jelly inside, and put it in your mixture. We use linseed oil, which again improves the workability, and the drying, it helps in drying the plaster quite well. Then what else do we use? We use alum. We use, so yeah, there is a huge list of ingredients. We use neem leaves again. We crush neem leaves and add it to the mixture too. again make it more resistant to any external fungus or organisms. Yeah, there is there is so many, you can keep adding rui. There's a leaf called rui we add in again. So if it, like I said, with every region, you can change the ingredient according to what is locally available.
Okay. I guess that's it from my side. So that was a thought-provoking session, ma'am, and interesting to know about natural building practice and the importance of using natural building materials in construction. Thank you, ma'am, for an inspiring session. We can move to the vote of thanks. So I request the co-convener, our HOD, Professor Ashok Kumar sir, to say.
Yes, good afternoon, one and all. I really happy to have you today's session, Young Creative Minds Architect Riddhi Boraji. It's a very good session as you explained to the natural materials and the natural collectives and things like that. As we all enjoy beauty of the nature, but obviously we forget about the natural material. As our ancestors practice with the materials and the techniques, and they use it for the construction of their habitat in the with the vernacular material and things like that. Slowly we are moving on to digital era, and we are for the sophistication and things like that. We forgot our ancestors' usage of natural material as well. As you are pointing out, this. Your experience in the blend with the nature and collectives of the natural material for the developing the habitats, evolution and constructing and using in your practice as well. Really, it's a wonderful session to have you today with your experience, expertise, and hands-on experience with the students and teaching them techniques and things like that. Really, in this webinar also, of course, our students, all the participants who would have been got knowledge shared from you. Really, it will be help them a lot. Maybe they will also practice hands-on experience with this knowledge and things like that. I hope maybe they can try the next semester. Hope once they come return back to the college after this COVID situation, hope this will help them. On behalf of SRM Seed and students and faculties, I'm thanking you once again, Riddhi Boraji. And we thank you, our management, for giving us the opportunity to conduct this online virtual hashtag 2020. As SRM Seed is very happy to having you for this Creative Mind session. Also, I'll thank you all the coordinators, moderators, students, coordinators, and overall helping directly, indirectly to our making this virtual mode of hashtag 2020 into good success. And thank you once again to all. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank our convener, Architect Lokesh sir, for his constant support and guidance. Our respective co-convener, Professor Ashok Kumar sir, for this opportunity, and our extremely supportive faculty members for being with us at every step. In the chat box, you will find the link to the feedback form. I request all the participants to fill that so they can obtain your e-certificates. Thank you, technical team, for your support throughout. We look forward to have you all back tomorrow for the webinar session of Footprints of Architects series titled A Prelude to Design, presented by Architect Rupmati Anand at 12 p.m. After that, at 2 p.m. tomorrow, we also have another session from the Global Architectural series presented by Architect Tono Fernandez. I request all of you to take part, and thank you all once again. Hope you enjoy this.
Thank you, Riddhi, for joining us. It was such an insightful session. I'm sure we've all started thinking and we should experiment more, explore more, and we started the series with a lot of people speaking about a lot of different allied forces to architecture. And we ended on a very positive note, is what I would say. We'll think about sustainability in new ways. We're hoping to have you soon and show us some of your proyogs here, and we'll have some workshop here too.
Thank you, Pooja. Looking forward.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.